Okay, this is the essay feedback request for May 5th, 2019. Her name is Lynn, currently living in America, from America. So the prompt is an ETS prompt. It says, over the past year, our late night news program has devoted increased time to national news and less time to weather and local news. During this time period, most of the complaints received from the viewers were concerned with our station's coverage of weather and local news. So we have two assumptions here. Number one, most of the complaints are significant, like it even matters. Number two, the coverage is related to time, not to something else. In addition, local businesses that used to advertise during our late night news program have just canceled their advertising contracts with us. So we have another assumption there that the reason they canceled is because of this decision here, but it could be a different reason, right? And then I think that's all I really need. There's a couple other ones in here, but let's just get into Lynn's essay. So it starts by saying, according to the business manager, the approach that the television should take is to increase the coverage of weather and local news in order to gain viewers and prevent the loss of advertising contracts. Not bad. I mean, it's not really increase. It's more return to its previous levels restore. But not a big deal. The manager has drawn this conclusion from the fact that viewers express their unsatisfactory. So viewers have expressed. So this is a deadly sin. Wrong verb tense. They're unsatisfactory. This is another deadly sin. Wrong part of speech. So you need to use a noun here. Dissatisfaction. Like that. Toward the time for these programs. Really? No. It never says it's for the time. So, don't make the same logical fallacies that the original argument is making. And local businesses cease, so have ceased their contract. So again, deadly sin, wrong verb tense. Their contracts with the station. However, this approach might be prematurely decided because of the three following reasons. Not a great thesis. A good thesis would be something like this. However, while the author's conclusion might hold water, it currently rests on three unfounded assumptions that must be substantiated in order to validate the argument, something like that. First of all, it might be unthoughtful if the station, so this is kind of word choice issue. If the station only focuses on the concerns of the audiences of weather and local news while ignoring other audiences of national news. Remember, the point of this sentence is to identify one of the author's assumptions. This is not doing that. This is giving advice. Almost like Lynn is kind of consulting the manager of the station. And that's not something you want to do here. It might be true that the station can increase the number of viewers by spending more time on weather and local news. However, so this is another deadly sin. It's called a run-on sentence. It can also lose audience who are fond of watching national news since they have to substitute the time for one category of the others. So again, this paragraph, because it wasn't set up well with a good topic sentence, it's very difficult to rectify this. It's very difficult to come back from it. The station mostly received concerns from people who are not content with the program. How do I know this? Do I know this? So again, she's assuming something, but might not receive any praise from people who support the current division of time coverage for each category. Again, it's just not entirely relevant to the prompt. Remember, this entire paragraph should be about one of the author's assumptions. Oops. Therefore, changing to please a group of audiences, kind of awkwardly phrased, might make the other groups discontented. If this is the case, the station might not gain more viewers. It might actually decrease the number of audiences again, kind of awkwardly phrased, the number of audiences with the desire for more national views. With the desire of more national views. Again, kind of, I don't understand what that says. So let's all come back to the topic sentence. When you don't set up the topic sentence well, it's very difficult to save the paragraph. So what Lynn should have done is she should have said something like this. First of all, the author assumes that, you know, the number of complaints regarding the station's coverage is significant. Perhaps most of the complaints only amounted to 3 out of a total of 5 complaints that the station received during the relevant time period. It is possible that this most or we could just say, you know, perhaps most of the complaints only amounted to 3 out of a total of 5 complaints that the station received during the relevant time period. And then you could maybe throw in another example, like, it is also possible that, I mean, really, the one example is enough. That kind of, you know, gets the idea across. If this scenario is true and the station received an insignificant amount or number of complaints, then the manager should not, or the manager, then we can say, then the manager's assertion that the station needs to drastically alter its strategy might be premature, or something like that. But notice, by setting it up with a good topic sentence, it makes the paragraph much easier because it highlights one of the assumptions right there. Secondly, it might be erroneously, so again, we have another deadly sin, wrong part of speech. So you need to say erroneous. To link the fact that local businesses discontinued their contracts with the program to the decrease in time spending weather. This is better. This is a better one because it does highlight an assumption. And the assumption is that they discontinued their contracts because of this kind of shift in the coverage. There might be multiple other reasons that are considered by these businesses when they decide to stop the partnership with the station. For example, they might see a loss of profit for a long period. They might have seen. Again, we have kind of these verb tense issues. They might have seen. So we have another deadly sin, verb tense. A loss of profit for a long period, even before the change in time. Division, awkwardly phrased. Among 3 categories which have no direct relation with the expansion, it might also be due to the fact that these businesses found another way, or have found. So again, another deadly sin, wrong verb tense. And perhaps more effective way to market their brands and therefore have canceled. So you can see Lynn has significant issues with verb tense. I mean, she's not the only one, so I'm not making fun of her or anything. So yeah, deadly sin. Wrong verb tense. Their contracts, in both cases, restoring the time of weather. So this is a much better body paragraph, in my opinion. The main issue is the number of deadly sins. So it doesn't matter how strong the paragraph is. If you have this many deadly sins, they're going to give you kind of a low score. In conclusion, the idea of raising the time for weather and local news can be fallible. Usually we use fallible with people, so not this idea. You can say fallacious, you know. So the idea of raising the blah, blah, blah might be fallacious. Because of these above reasons, more evidence will be needed or is needed. So again, more verb tense issues. In order to thoroughly examine the validity of the solution, data on the numbers of people who are interested in each other, in each of the other, 3 categories or research on reasons why businesses have ceased. Some more verb issues. Ceased their contracts, might provide more insights and a broader picture. So I would say from most of this, it looked like a 3.0. I'll bump it up to a 3.5, but you know, this essay still has some things it needs to work on. Some serious issues that need to be worked on. And the first one is, you know, we have to make sure that our topic sentences point out an assumption from the argument. And number 2, Lynn really needs to work on her grammar, specifically the deadly sins. You know, ideally you want to have 0 deadly sins. Okay? So thank you so much, Lynn. We appreciate it. And yeah, just keep working hard. I think if she cleans up some of this grammar, she'll be on the right track here. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.